Hey everybody, it's your boy, Captain Hunter. Welcome to another episode. I really appreciate you coming over, checking out the video. Appreciate it. Make sure that you hit that rate, subscribe, and share button and give me that thumbs up. If there's any stories that you want me to cover, hit me up and let me know what you think, right? So here's a story. I saw a couple of videos, or thumbnails, I should say, and I didn't actually watch the videos. But I guess this judge here has been arrested, and judges routinely get arrested and fired. When I was looking around for this story, right? So a bunch of stories comes up with 2019, 2023, 2019. These district court judges from all over, get arrested and all that. So this is, number one, it's nothing new that these judges are held accountable. It doesn't seem like they are, and probably to many of us, not enough. But I just thought that it would be interesting to chime in on my opinion about these judges who are getting arrested. Now, I think that there's a lot going on with our public servants, right? We've got a bunch of mayors facing all kind of inquiries and FBI investigations, in particular the mayor from Oakland and the mayor from Dolton, another mayor from Illinois, and all that kind of stuff, right? So we've got a bunch of mayors going through this. Some judges are going through it. Police officers are constantly going through it. Let's not forget about the teachers who are facing an epidemic, in my estimation, of students being assaulted by their female teachers. It's absolute madness. So let's read through the story and let's check out what this judge did in order to face the wrath of the criminal justice system. Judge arrested at nightclub should be removed for previous ethics charges. Georgia Supreme Court rules. Georgia Supreme Court ruled Tuesday that a Metro Atlanta judge should be removed from the bench after she was investigated for dozens of ethics charges. And we're going to read through that in a minute here. The ruling comes days after the judge was arrested at an Atlanta nightclub. Now listen, there's a lady, Pink Book Lessons, I'm probably going to add her in this. Pink Book Lessons is constantly going off, in particular about females. I'm not going to pick on the ladies. I think that men, have done their dirt, obviously, through the years. But she really harps on these judges. And let me try to tie this into what I'm saying to these judges and to these black females who enter into positions of prominence and then don't act any differently from the men. That would be my take on her take, and I think that's an accurate assessment. Is that if you're going to take these positions, right? Black people in particular have ascended to these different heights, and they want it to become with the hope of change. And they don't end up changing anything. They become just as bad, just as bad, and just as a negative in their pursuit of power and all that. And that this is where we get the teachers sleeping with students. This is where we get police chiefs who don't want to hire females. All the different types of stories that I've covered. And this is just another example of it. And she's talking about an Atlanta nightclub, right? And if she was covering this story, and I think that she did cover the story. I think actually her thumbnail is the one that I watched or saw. I guarantee you she's going to call them a city girl. She's going to call them a city girl, right? Because you're a city girl, you're acting no differently than the individuals who we are holding accountable and arresting, and in 304 type of behavior and all this type of stuff, right? Here she is at an Atlanta nightclub. I'm not saying that judges can't enjoy themselves from time to time. I'm not saying that, but I think that they should be held to a different and higher standard, right? Douglas County probate judge Christinapeterson was arrested with simple battery against a police officer at the Red Martini restaurant and lounge on Peachtree Street. Oh my God. Oh my God. Alaska serial killer admitted to killing 5 people that has died in Indiana prison. Oh, that's a long story. Okay. I was going to say there's another serial killer on the loose, although they say that there's like 10 to 15 at any time in the U.S. Peterson had already been facing ethics charges brought against her by the Judicial Qualifications Commission in 2022. The JQC ruled that Peterson should be removed from the bench. On Tuesday, the Georgia Supreme Court said it agrees with the JC's ruling Tuesday's ruling is not related to the Peterson's arrest. So that's what they even. Oh my God. In conclusion, in the light of multiple violations of the JCJ rules in relation to several matters, some of them reflecting a flagrant disregard for the law, court rules, and judicial conduct, this pattern of violations that the director proved by clear and convincing evidence. Look at this language here. The extremely concerning nature of some of those violations, in particular with respect to the criminal contempt matter and her behavior during the JQC inquiry. Not only was she under investigation, as this article says, but she was acting a fool during the inquiry, probably speaking out, not listening, interrupting. We conclude that a removal is the appropriate sanction. Channel 2 Action News first reported ethics charges against Peterson in 2022. Peterson was elected in 2020, only 2 years into her administration. She can't make it, and her alleged misuse of social media attracted the attention of JQC before she was even sworn in. That's among the dozens of ethics charges the commission filed against the judge. Before this woman is even sworn in, who nominated her? Who elected her? Who? God, dog, man. Related stories. Let's see. Oh, is that it for the story? All right, let's go over to these ethics charges. I think this is a longer. An immediate threat of harm. Agency asked state Supreme Court to suspend metro area judge. This is from 2022. A Georgia Judicial Oversight Agency is asking the state Supreme Court to suspend a metro area judge, arguing that she's an immediate threat of harm to the public and the court. She said the suspension, Channel 2 investigative reporter Richard Belcher says a suspension before a judge has an ethics trial would be unusual, but not unprecedented. This is the second time that the JQC has asked the Supreme Court to suspend Douglas County Court Judge Christinapeterson, who is facing 50 separate ethics charges. My God. The Supreme Court rejected the commission's earlier request to suspend Judge Peterson last October, that was in 2021, but left the door open for the JQC to try again. It is doing just that. Peterson was elected in 2020, and her alleged misuse of social media attracted the attention of the JQC before she was even sworn in. That's among 50 ethics charges the commission has filed against the judge. The initial complaint containing 18 charges was filed last fall, but most of the 50 charges were added just last week. The JQC followed with the request of the Supreme Court judge to suspend the Supreme Court judge right away. The commission contends her continued service on the bench poses an immediate threat, a substantial, serious harm to the public and to the administration of justice. They wanted my client out last year and claimed that the offenses were so egregious that she should be interimly suspended. And the Supreme Court rejected that, says Cartersville attorney Lester Tate, a former chairman of the JQC who represents Judge Peterson. The allegations include allowing staff to backdate official documents. I do remember hearing this. Backdate documents, allowing people from the Douglas County Courthouse for a weekend wedding over the explicit objection of the staff, and repeated improper use of social media. The nearly 200-page JQC complaint and motion to suspend Judge Peterson includes some of the social media posts in 2020 before the judge was sworn in. They include a caption that says, "Our future probate judge wants money on Cash App." Oh my God. In November 2020, a post promoting an event at an Atlanta restaurant included the message, "Come party with me, Judge-elect." Yeah, because when you do that type of stuff, it I probably can't see these words here. When you do that type of stuff, right, it gives the presence or the idea that your services, her services, her judgments are for sale. They might not have been, but it's inappropriate, and I'm sure that she should have known that. The complaint of the JQC also includes the observation that one of her postings, including an inappropriate sexual commentary, called to a closed-door meeting with the commission in February 2021, just weeks after she took office. The judge told the panel, "I don't want to offend the judiciary. I don't want to do any of that." So why am I here? Is to correct my actions. A partial transcript of our interview is included in the JQC's recent filing. The commission contends that she went back on social media this summer, improperly promoting her role in a play at a Marietta theater. Her attorney thinks the social media accusations are overblown. A lot of things that have been alleged, the things that I have seen are things that were either said in jest or things related to her hobby of being an actress. We believe that this is an attempt to try to muddy her with an additional spurious allegations when, if they really were that serious, the JQC should have spent the last year trying to get the case into court. The Supreme Court will first grant or deny the JQC's to suspend Judge Peterson right away. Tate says he expects to ask for an opportunity to argue the evidence before any decision on suspension. Whatever happens with this suspension request, she's entitled to a full hearing. I'd like to read, well, I don't want to read the whole thing. I'm sure you don't want to hear me drone on about that, but I would like to see these charges. The 200-page complaint. I'm going to see if I can find that. Let's see if we can find it. All right, so I found the complaint. Let me move my, I'm going to move my picture over here. It says it was 200 pages. I only see 39 pages, so I'm not exactly sure. Before the Judicial Qualifications Commission, State of Georgia, inquiry concerning Judge Christinapeterson. So this might be the first, what did they say, 7 or 12 charges, whatever that initial number was. What was the initial number? And the other 50 came after. 18 initial charges, but the most of the 50 charges, this might be the first 18 charges, formal charges. I want to see the charge. I just want to read the charges. I'm not going to bore you guys with reading all this, but let's see. Judge Peterson has repeatedly violated the code of conduct by failing to establish, maintain, and enforce high standards of conduct, failing to personally observe such standards to conduct so that the independence, integrity, and impartiality of the judiciary may be preserved. Yeah, so again, when she's talking about come see me at this play, come do this, come do that for me, give me cash apps, all that is completely inappropriate because it gives the illusion that her, if you show up to these different events and support her, that it will somehow affect her judgment and different complaints and things that go on in her courtroom. And she can't, you gotta maintain again that independence, integrity, and partiality. Judge Peterson's disregard for the ethical rules which should guide and govern her conduct began when she was practicing attorney and has continued through her judicial tenure. Well, who elected? I guess they run for elections on there. During her brief judicial tenure, Peterson has failed to perform judicial and administrative tasks. This is the jurisdiction said they have the actual right due by different Georgia's constitutional laws, right? Facts, procedural background. Yeah, so this is an interesting story. But listen, so I tell the story often, and I can remember. I tell the story often. I just told it the other day on my other channel. When I was going through my master's degree program, I was taking a forensic psychology, and I'm telling you every class had, the 10 classes we take or whatever, for your master's, 10, 12 classes, whatever it was. Whatever that, every single class had an aspect of ethics. We had to write something about ethics, responsibility, duty, honor, all the stuff that they saying that she violated, integrity, independence of investigations, all that kind of stuff. And then we had a full class on it. So every class we took, I don't even remember the classes, but whatever classes we had to take, every single one of them had to do with ethics. So I'm sure that this is the same type of thing. December 8th, 2017, Douglas County Superior Court Judge Cynthia Adams issued an order for a second HOA lawsuit granting plaintiffs' motions for interlocutory injunction. On December 20th, Judge Peterson became the new president of HOA on or about 28th, approximately 9 months after the filing the second HOA lawsuit, Judge Peterson sent a letter opposing counsel with a settlement offer. Judge Peterson demanded $70,000 for the settlement of the case and advised that the letter constituted our demand to pay the amount of $70,000 in damage. This amount includes combined damages for all the plaintiffs for reimbursement for payment of improper fines, recovery loss. Judge Peterson's settlement offer also advised. She's got to be independent in these investigations, and to give the appearance of impropriety. Man, this is really disappointing that this lady has gotten into office and just acted a fool. This is the same thing. Let's see what she did. Peterson, 38. This woman's 38. Was sworn in appropriate judge 2020 after winning a contested Democratic Party primary that year, that running unopposed in November general election. She lost the Democratic primary last month in her bid for re-election, I guess because of all the stuff she had going. And Peterson had been plagued by ethics charges for much of their tenure last week and was arrested after she was accused of pushing a police officer during an early morning scuffle at an Atlanta nightclub. And that was, man, this is really disappointing, man. This woman is 38 years old. Oh, here she is. This woman right here is 38 years old. Okay. Let's take a look at another, right? So, here's her mugshot, with all the stuff taken off of her, all the makeup off, all the accessories removed. It's unfortunate. I don't take pleasure in these types of stories, but you got to get in office. And the premise that African Americans have always had is that we can do better. If we can get in here, we'll make sure that justice is administered. We'll make sure that we treat people fairly, because during Jim Crow we weren't treated fairly, right? We went to court and we were excluded. I read cases. I have a book here. It has to do with the repealing of the 1954 case, desegregation of the school cases, right? And how the Supreme Court overturned it. And so what they did in the book, and I can't find the book right now, but what they talked about in the book was all the stuff that led up to it, right? All these different court cases, right? All the stuff, all the Jim Crow era type of materials that African Americans had gone through. Just in some cases, they would take people to court, right? You try to take my land, you kill my animals, just all these different suppression tactics that white people were using against black people. And they would take them to court and they would be like, yeah, and the judge would be like, yeah, you won, but we're only going to give you $1. How is $1 going to compensate me for the loss of material and time and all that, right? So it became a joke and a waste. So African Americans fought through all these years to get to a place where we could sit on these benches and defend ourselves through becoming lawyers, defend ourselves and make sure the administration of justice was fair. And then you're going to do the same thing that other people were doing. It's unfortunate, man. So here's another judge, right? So this is when I was Googling this stuff, right? This is a year ago, right? So this is a Hamilton County judge, and she's being dragged out of court. Let's listen to this.
After nearly 5 years of appeals, Judge Tracy Hunter is about to be sentenced for illegally helping her brother. She could get off with probation or receive the maximum 6-month jail sentence.
You are to do 6 months in the Hamilton County Justice Center, credit 1 day. Mr. or Ms. Deputy can take her away.
The judge goes ahead and imposes the 6-month sentence. Immediately, the courtroom erupts. Her supporters are gasping, they're yelling, and someone seems to charge the defense table.
When she goes limp and being dragged out, it was horrific. You could hear the screeching, you could hear people crying.
Very passive aggressive, just kind of planks out and is dragged, literally dragged from the courtroom, her heels scraping on the carpet.
At this point in my mind, she's non-compliant, she's uncooperative, she won't stand up and just walk out of the courtroom with a little bit of dignity.
You could see the look in her eye and her body language like, this is not reality, this isn't happening, what is going on? I am a judge, I used to be in that position.
I would consider that a minor protest. She wasn't going to fight with the officers, so, you know what, you're going to have to bring me back there on your own.
Once in the hallway, Judge Hunter walks on her own as deputies escort her to the elevator. There, she changes out of her high heels before going to jail.
It's probably an out-of-body experience. I don't think anybody goes in with the dream of becoming a judge and having that dream end in prison time.
After the sentencing, there was an eruption in the community. There were many supporters of this former judge who didn't think that the guilty verdict and the eventual sentence was a fair one.
We cannot keep allowing this to happen to our people.
They felt that if she were a white judge, this would not have happened. The idea that the sitting judge was going to be sent to prison just really shocked the whole crowd.
Despite the protests, Judge Norbert Nadel, who handed out the original sentence, insists race did not play a factor and stands by his ruling of 6 months in jail.
I went through every court, and every court agreed with what I did 5 years ago. An elected public official is held to a higher standard than anybody else.
After the chaos in the courtroom, Judge Hunter begins serving her 6 months in jail.
When you've lost your career, when your name has been ran through the mud, I think it's unfair to then have to go to jail. She's a model citizen, just made some mistakes and irritated the judicial system.
Listen, you gotta uphold the standards. You gotta uphold the standards. There's another story I had here of former judge, Johnson County judge sentenced to jail, probation. Former Johnson County Judge Perrystout was sentenced to a year in jail after pleading guilty to money laundering and possession of marijuana with intent to distribute. Oh my God, man. I've done wrong. I realized I have to be punished. Stout said Thursday during sentencing, I lost a career, retirement, and the respect of so many people. The former judge pleaded guilty to money laundering and marijuana charges and waived his right to trial in January. This is May of 2024. Stout previously admitted in court to helping fund a marijuana trafficking operation, which involved a man named Gary Marshall, and to using profits from the operation to fund his 2022 judge campaign and other things. Oh my God. So they probably found this guy, Gary Marshall. Several people testified during this hearing, including Marshall. Let's see, I didn't even read this. Including Marshall, who had provided information to authorities. He approached me, started talking, and then he asked me was there money in it? And I said, well, yeah. Stout took the stand and said he regrets his decision and is embarrassed by them. I authorized Gary to buy THC products. Stout said I invested in that, and that was wrong. I didn't realize that having him reinvest the profits was money laundering. That was wrong as well. How do you not realize that this is your job as a judge? I didn't know what I was doing was wrong. 3 people also spoke as a character witness for on Stout's behalf. Norman Miller called Stout a good guy. Cara Howard said that everyone deserves a second chance. Reeve Snyder said he believes Stout is ready to walk the straight life. News Channel 11 asked Stout's attorney about filing an appeal, but was told that Stout is ready to move on and won't likely appeal. You are hired to a higher standard, as that previous clip said. So what are your thoughts or opinions about these judges? Should they continue going through? I know the FBI's got a lot going on. They're chasing down judges, chasing down mayors. It's really unfortunate, but judges are held to a higher standard as well. Okay, everyone. So I'm actually inserting this, right? I was just about to hit the edit button, and then I found this video of the actual arrest of the Atlanta County Judge Peterson. Put gum in my mouth and everything. So let's take a look at the body cam footage.
Atlanta police released new video showing the arrest of a Douglas County judge. It shows probate judge Christinapeterson's encounter with police before, during, and after she was arrested and booked into the Fulton County Jail.
Ma'am,
take me where you want to take me.
I can't take
no,
you. I don't
take
have any
me.
identification on
And
me.
I don't care. You don't need identification. You lock people up if you have picked up dead bodies when you don't know who bodies it was, but you picked them up. Take me where you need to take me.
That's Peterson you saw in the back of the squad car. There she is again engaging with police before she's rushed to the ground and placed in handcuffs. The night this happened, an Atlanta police officer was working a security detail at the Red Martini Lounge in Buckhead. Police say the officer overheard some commotion, stepped in to de-escalate it, and that's when Peterson physically got involved with police. Police also showed video of what happened when they got her out of the squad car.
Stop touching. I got it. I can walk on my own. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't.
I got too many windows open, but you can see, I'm going to rewind this a little bit. You can see her wig on the ground there.
Detail at the Red Martini Lounge in Buckhead. Police say the officer overheard some commotion, stepped in to de-escalate it, and that's when Peterson physically got involved with police. Police also showed.
I truly wish that our ladies would stop wearing these.
Detail at the Red Martini Lounge in Buckhead. Police say the officer overheard some commotion, stepped in to de-escalate it, and that's when Peterson physically got involved with police. Police also showed video of what happened when they got her out of the squad car.
Stop touching. I got it. I can walk on my own. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. I got it. I can walk on my own. Don't touch me.
Peterson is now being charged with simple battery against a police officer and felony willful obstruction of law enforcement by use of threats of violence. The judge and her attorney held a news conference yesterday. She says she was wrongfully arrested and now wants the charges dropped.
Okay, so I'm going to end this off. Because I wanted to end this off with me talking about what my problem with ratchet feminism. And why I think that these kind of stories matter. Now, as you can see in the story, I included a white male judge, but 2 black female judges. And listen, I want our sisters to go as fast and as far as possible. But I think that we have to understand, and particularly in the case of the second or the first story we covered, Ms. Judge Peterson, that there's a downside to this end of oppression. As you can see here, there's a story here, and as I was going to look for my story that I did on ratchet feminism, and the problems that I have with it, here's why I have a problem with it, right? So as I go into Google and look for my story, I see Brody. This is I'm assuming a PhD or an academic. Ratchet feminism on TikTok: visual cultural resistance to oppression. The end of respectability, black feminism, and ratchet politics. Excuse me. Protect black. You can see that word too. Protect them too. Nobody's saying that they shouldn't deserve, that they do not deserve protection. I don't even know if mine is going to be up here. I certainly put the hashtag in it. Why feminism fails black women, right? So those. Here's my story, right? Not many views to it, right? But if you get a chance, I think you really should check it out. What the heck is ratchet feminism? And this is the problem I have with it, because it's middle class. It's middle to upper class women behaving in situations and in ways that are detrimental, I think, to the overall collective image of black people, number one, black women in particular. And it doesn't help. As you can see, this judge is acting a fool. She's got a couple of drinks in her, I assume. She's acting in ways that would seem to be inappropriate. She's acting in these ways when it comes to her demeanor with not only courtroom problems, but her demeanor in public, her interactions with the police, her interactions when she gets to the court system or to the prison cell. This is the problem that I have with it. And yes, this problem goes to men too. But we all know that men shouldn't be doing what they're doing. But I think that there's a problem when we're not holding enough women accountable for the problems that are going on. So that's it. So that's why I have a problem with it, and I think it bleeds into other ideas. You know, it bleeds into other arenas, I should say. It bleeds into other arenas of your life. You have to maintain dignity, respect, whatever that is. And I don't have a problem with bucking the system as it pertains to I don't have a problem with bucking the system as it pertains to, you know, what is respectability, what is dignity, honor, right? In a normal way that it would be contexted. But I think that the disservice is doing is creating something that is the polar opposite of what we would expect from our professional people. That's the problem I have. So that's what I wanted to say. Check out the videos. Thank you. Leave a thumbs up. Much love and peace, everyone.